Hello there. I intended to go live today at 10 o'clock, which I intend to go live every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. But one thing I didn't think about was that I travel with my husband for work, and 97% of the time it's possible to do a 10 o'clock live, except every now and then, like today, we will be on the road traveling back home with spotty internet service for sure when you're on the highways. And not to mention my husband list all the things. So here I am. I decided to do a recording for you instead because I really want to get this. I really want to get this information out to you about the things that I do to keep my brain calm. And you're probably thinking, oh, they're going to be exercise and journaling, but they're not. They're different ones. These are the things that I've learned work for me to keep my brain calm. I would love to hear for you what keeps your brain calm when you get anxious. And as much as I try to fight it, as many strategies as I put in place, I still have times where I get anxious. And to be absolutely honest, it's funny because last week when I planned this topic, I didn't think I would be anxious, but I am. Tomorrow we'll be going home, and then on Thursday we are taking a trip. We're taking my dad for a 10-hour drive. We're gonna go see my son, and then we're gonna go see my dad's sister-in-law, and it's the first time maybe that I've traveled with him since I was 8 years old, and that was a memorable trip that I do not wanna repeat. But what is happening since my mom died is that my dad is starting to tell me stories about what happened when they had their stillbirth. And it just Lord knows what will come up on this trip, but I'm learning all the time. I'm learning all the time about why it is so important to get help, to have this kind of help, and to talk these sort of things through so that when you're not when you're 78 years old, you're not still tortured by what happened. It's like 56 years ago now. Still tortured. Still. Memories are still front and center. They've not made peace with it. They never did. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. It's really good. It's healing for him. It is really motivating for me because I know that what I'm teaching, what I'm doing, the people that I'm helping are not gonna be those people at 78 years old. So, that's my next couple days here, probably contributing to my anxiety. So, here's what I do for my anxiety when it flares up, is I get up every single morning and I write down what I wanna do that day. Now, you might think, "That seems counterintuitive, like, why put so much pressure on yourself to do that? Write out a list of things to do." But that's not what it is for me. For me, it's just saying, "Here's what I'd like to do today," and then it's okay if I don't get it done, but I usually the next morning, I can usually look back at there and for sure I've gotten 1 or 2 things done. And if you wanna be sure, you can put simple things, like maybe you did the laundry and you already have it in the washer, or maybe you cooked dinner and you already are, like, planning that. So, those are things that I set myself up so that the next day I can look back and think, oh, okay. I did it. I am making progress. Things are okay. I am moving forward. So that is one thing that I think is super helpful. And what I love to say that it's I get up and I do a journaling practice and I drink coffee and I enjoy the morning. Yes, but that's not what I do. It's literally I do have a planner that I use, but it is truly very basic and it's very list. It's just a list. Here are the things I'd like to do today. I try to do 3 or 4, not to do too many, and usually a couple of them are pretty simple and doable. So, that's one thing that helps me. Another thing that helps me is just stepping outside. I'm not saying you have to go for a run. I'm not saying you have to walk 3 miles. Step outside. And I live in a really cold weather place. I live in Buffalo, New York, so it can be really cold some days. Step outside. I need that sunshine, even if it's in the middle of cold weather. I have to do it. I have to step outside for 3 minutes. Another thing that I do is meal prep. I know, it sounds weird, but I love to meal prep, and I think it serves 2 purposes for me, for to calming the anxiety. Number 1, when you're chopping vegetables, when you're following a recipe, when you're especially if you can do I do because my husband and I travel, for his work, I we bring our own food a lot of the time because you can only eat out so much. So, sometimes on a long stretch, I'll do 3 different meal preps, so we have 3 different meals to mix it up a little bit, and that it is challenging to your brain, it completely makes you check out. You check out from every other thing that you're doing, you can because you're concentrating on what you're making and the containers and what am I gonna need to take that's gonna make this easier and how are we gonna pack this up? Like all of those things, or just even put in your refrigerator, those things take your mind off of whatever it is that's spiraling in there. And that is super, super helpful for me. So that's really calming. And for some reason, like chopping vegetables and cleaning out the refrigerator. I'm really good about that. I clean out the refrigerator and I meal prep what I have in there so that there's really nothing left. And on the way home from a work trip, I will order groceries to be picked up on the way, and then we start the whole process again. So, another bonus thing that I do that is I wanted to say too, I do not jump into social media and scroll when I'm anxious. In fact, I try to stay out of it. And I'm sure I don't even need to say that because what can make you more anxious than to be on social media and some see what everyone else is doing, and then you compare yourself, and then the anxiety just gets worse. So, no, I stay away from social media, but I will do things like clean up the files on my computer or look through the photos. And I don't know if you're like me, but I sometimes take crazy screenshots of things I see and then I don't even remember why. So I delete. It feels good to go through your photos, delete them, maybe organize them if you're good at that. I'm somewhat good at it, not as much as I'd like to be, but sometimes I'll get into a thing where I do that. And then you feel like it's productive. It's not necessarily screen free, or it's still not maybe healthy for you because you're still sitting on a computer. But you know what? It is still productive. At the end, it still makes you feel like you've done something. You're whatever it is that makes you feel some slight feeling of accomplishment. So if you notice, that is the theme of all of the things that I like to do that help me stay calm is some sort of accomplished. There's some teeny little thing that's accomplished by the time I'm done with it, whether it's a few breaths of fresh air, I make my list for the day, there's a few pictures that were deleted, or a few meals that were prepped. And so I highly recommend meal prepping. I think that also serves for when you're anxious and you don't feel like cooking. And so, what do you want to do but eat junk food out of the cupboard? But if you have these meals prepped, you do it. So, let me know if you want any recipes. I can always work through some of those things too and show you what I do. But that is it for today. I just wanted to still get this in here and say hello this week. And I will be back next week for sure with a live video. And I don't know what the topic is, but I will get it back to you. But stay tuned. Keep checking for the topic. It will be posted, and I will be here next Wednesday at 10 a.m. See you then.